All right. So, who wants to go over what happened to their characters last time?
From what I remember, Nelson was chilling with his gang of peoples with Kyle and whatnot, and some shit broke down in the not cafeteria. There's a word I'm looking for.
The
But
recreational area?
yes, thank you. In the recreational area. And so whenever Nelson went to investigate the weird noises in the back of one of the diners, you throw a throw a frying pan and then immediately dove over the thing. Found a xenomorph. Xenomorph jumped out, and everybody started running. To which, of course, Nelson and the others also fled. It was, I believe, Ransom that then kind of intercepted the crowd, but then went after the xenomorph to try to like hunt it down. But he got away.
Indeed. And then I think Jukes and Anderton went out to the Oasis and retrieved the Neomorph corpse, or is it the Neomorph corpse or the Abomination corpse? I forget. But brought it back, and that's kind of where we left off.
Yeah, it was the Neomorph corpse.
Yes.
Which hadn't quite started decomposing just yet because of the cold. So, yeah.
Okay.
Scarfing down some breakfast tacos real quick.
How dare?
Oh, I dare. Because this is my breakfast time. Alright. So, yeah. So, we are back at the colony. The incident in the recreational area has recently been resolved. Ransom and Jukes were making their way to the laboratory area with the xenomorph body in tow on a stretcher container thing. And being that Jukes' player cannot be here tonight, Anderton has decided to dismiss him until he has further need of him.
That's fair.
So, Mr. Anderton.
Yeah.
You have brought it into the lab. You have brought this monstrous corpse to the labs for study. We'll say you just kind of bring it into the nearest one, which is you probably take it into like one of these areas right here. So what, if anything, does Anderton say or do for this situation? Because I'm assuming that he would want to keep as much control over it as possible.
So what do I see in this lab? Like, who's there?
Bunch of scientists, everybody who is in there, kind of like, you know, the two who wheeled it in are a little in awe, less so than the other ones who are just now seeing it. But there's a lot of like whispers about, you know, a couple of others I have kind of stopped in the hallway outside of the lab area and are looking in through the windows that go into the rooms. Couple of whispers and such like that, people talking, wondering if this is what got the other scientists the other day and dragged them into the vents. You know, are there more of these things? A lot of speculative talk and a lot of like hushed, worried and excited whispering.
Sean will walk in there with the specimen, and he'll kind of motion to the ones near the scientists nearest to him,
Mm-hmm.
and say, "This specimen is not to leave this lab unless authorized by me and me alone. And we want to make sure we record everything that's done with this specimen. But until we get direction from corporate, we're going to put it on ice."
One of the scientists looks at you and says, "So you don't want us to start examining it?"
Not until we get direction from corporate.
With all due respect, sir, that's gonna take weeks.
It's going to be on ice, isn't it?
Well, yes, but, what? Not to say any offense or anything like that, but there might be others who might be a little more, ambitious that might disregard your wishes, sir.
Well, if you think that's going to be beneficial, then why don't you go ahead and take the lead of the dissection?
He just kind of like perks up a little bit because he wasn't really expecting that per se, but he was expecting to like at least start gathering people to start working on it.
Well, are you going to start? Or should I find someone else?
He kind of like comes out of his stupor a little bit. Oh, yes, sir. We'll get started right away.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, let's go ahead and make history, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you stick around for what they're doing, or are you going to leave now?
I think Sean would maybe watch Hills step back and not get in the way of the scientists. But he's certainly going to keep an eye on what they're doing and just kind of, out of his own curiosity, just kind of watch what's happening there. But like I said, he's going to be not interfering with them and just letting them do their thing.
Okay.
Until he kind of gets bored and then decides to move on.
Okay. So they're starting to get all their tools and stuff together, and people are gathering around, people going every which way, people trying to decide who's gonna stay, who's gonna go, because too many cooks in the kitchen ruins the meal, all that kind of good stuff. So eventually, after about 30 to 45 minutes of getting equipment and personnel in order, there's about like 3 or 4 scientists that are actually left in the lab itself. 2 of them are actually like start working on the corpse. The other 2 seem to be just more of assistants than anything else. Getting tools, recording data, all that kind of stuff. So how long would you say before Anderton gets bored? Would he have left during the setup time, or is he going to continue to stick around through that?
He will probably stick around through the setup time just to make sure, not that he would really know any different if they were not doing things correctly, but I think it was just more so the watchful eye of him over the scientists to make sure they knew that they were being watched. And once the dissection occurred, then he will probably he'd probably slip out at that point.
Okay. It's probably within like the first 15 minutes of the actual procedure.
I would say so, yes.
Okay. And where is Anderton heading?
What time is it by now?
Let's see. It'd be mid-evening colony time.
He will probably go up to his apartment.
Okay. All right. So then, moving on to Ransom.
That's me.
All right, so you are in the still kind of in the aftermath of the events that happened in the recreation area.
All right, so things are still. So I know. I think by the time we left things off, the marshals were still locking the recreation part of it down, part of the colony down. But
So it's past that a little bit. Like y'all have gotten the recreation area locked down, and you're kind of just trying to keep order on things at the moment. You know, people passing by, kind of pumping up, wondering what's going on. Why is the recreation area closed? Why are the marshals all up in arms, etc., etc.
right. All right. Well, I'll be. Well, his original plan was to. Say we've got a big motherfucker that's going through the tunnels, and we need to lock people down and institute some sort of order, because this is going to, obviously, we had many witnesses to a alien threat, and we're going to hit pandemonium very soon if we don't act quickly.
Yeah, like you've already started hearing, people talk about the incident about, some quote unquote big fuck off monster in the colony now.
Yeah, and there's not many of us, but might have to. I'll call. Is it not Richardson? My boss.
That should be Richardson, I thought.
Okay, yeah. I thought Richardson was the guy who had murdered someone in the mines, but I'm thinking something different.
It is definitely a similar name.
Right.
Let me pull up the list here. Should be under not Nelson's. Yeah, Richardson. Lucas Richardson.
Right, Lucas. Starting with an L. But I'll call him and sort of let him know that things have progressed to a point where we're going to have to institute some sort of riot control, or things are going to start breaking down very quickly. We have a crisis on our hands.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said are you just kind of like calling them up on this, or are you going to the actual marshal's office to discuss this?
I'll go to the actual marshal's office. Why not? I got time.
Okay. On your way there, you are not so much not really confronted, but confronted is probably the best word that I can use, by Crow and the other two Marines, who I believe were Kent and Dosa, were the other two who survived without too much injury, asking you about what it is that you saw.
I do my best to describe it. Large, shiny, black, had not horns, but protrusions on the back, elongated head, some sort of alien life form, but very, very nasty. Which, out of character, I don't think they've seen the actual xenomorph before. So,
No, as far as they know, no, they have not. I mean, they've seen aliens before, but not this particular type.
but I say, sounds like whatever it is that's on this planet has come home to us. Might need you guys to. I don't know what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to do some sort of expedition hunt through the pipes. It's the only, through the tunnels. It's the only way I can think of to flush this thing out.
Yeah, they look at you and say, "Yeah, we heard that you're wanting to institute a lockdown. We were going to suggest the same thing while we tried to flush out the bug."
Yeah, that sounds like. I mean, I feel like the civilians aren't gonna like it, and we're gonna get some pushback. But I mean, we either seal the civilians somewhere centralized where they can't, because there's only one of this thing as far as we know, or we continue to let this thing pick off people as it goes through the tunnels. Anyway, if you want to back me up with my boss, I'd welcome the help.
They all kind of like nod in agreement. It's like, yeah, let's go.
All right. So go to Lucas Richardson's office.
All right. So yeah, you are you're in Richard. You head to Richardson's office, which I believe he says about right here.
Indeed. So I'll
so you go in there. Yeah. So yeah, you walk in. You see Richardson on his communication device talking with. You're not sure who he's talking with, but it is a very not friendly conversation. He sees you and like waves you in as he's kind of trying to finish up what conversation he's had, saying he's like, yeah, we're dealing with it. We're right now we're just trying to not cause a panic. We got the recreational area cordoned off right now, and we're trying to get everybody back into their rooms, all right? Just yeah. Look. We're taking care of it, all right? And then he hangs up.
What's that?
Freaking corpos.
Yeah, I figured they might think things difficult for us, but I know I assume you are caught up on what all happened at Recreation.
I've gotten the gist of it. I've had everybody up my ass, from the executives at Wayland to the Colonial admins to ICC. Everybody is wondering what the hell I'm doing about it.
You say, well, we know that this thing is going through the tunnels. We are only really sure that we're not sure, but we're pretty certain that there's only one of this thing. It's going to keep going through the tunnels and the maintenance shafts and picking people off unless we centralize and secure the civilians. Do we have the horses for that?
Not really. If a riot broke out, we'd literally be outnumbered 100 to 1.
They say, well, considering the entrance this thing made in Recreation, it's not shy, and the word's going to get out. It's probably already gotten out already. So we don't really have the luxury of we gotta do something. I brought my the Marines we have on hand. We need to. My first point of business is to see if we can get the civilians safe from this thing, which I was going to have to mean limiting the exposure that they have to the through these maintenance tunnels, one way in, one way out. But beyond that, we got to figure out where this thing is coming from. I made plans early on before it showed up in recreation to find it, but it got the jump on us. We can't let that happen again.
One of the Marines, Kent, pipes up and is all like, Marshal, we would suggest starting a sweep, probably starting from the starting from the civilians' domicile areas and heading and going out from there. If we want to herd this thing, we don't want to herd it towards civilians. We're going to want to herd it away from them.
It's a good point. I did check the maintenance and HAB or life support maintenance parts of the HAB complex. I'm fairly sure that it didn't come, and I was in those tunnels for long enough that if it came through the same tunnels from the HAB complex to the recreation complex, I would have run into it. So I think we can factor out the HAB complex as a center of this thing for now. But I agree, we got to sweep. If we don't find it, it'll find us.
Well, it's been some time since you encountered it in the recreation area, so it's very possible it could be anywhere by now if it's using the ventilation and maintenance tunnels.
That's true. But I have to imagine if it's picked off individual people, it's taken the bodies somewhere. I have to imagine there is a central place that it has, it could have stashes, but I don't know.
Well, how do we know it's not just eating them in the vents and leaving the remains?
I don't know if it is. It's taken them somewhere deep in. The two places that I've seen where it has killed someone, it's gone pretty deep into the vents with them. I don't know why if it's just taken to a safe place to eat, that's one thing, but I don't know. My gut doesn't tell me that's what's happening. But it's a fair point. We're gonna have to do sweeps anyway. We just gotta be methodical about it and be alert because this thing is pretty big.
All right, we're gonna go. So the Marines are already like armed and armored. Like once they heard that there was a hostile alien in the colony, they immediately went and got and replenished their gear and everything like that. So they're ready and raring to go.
Yeah, we got to arm our deputies as much as possible, and at least do two people to a. I'd say at least two, probably three people to a patrol if we can manage it. But I don't know if we have the manpower or the clout to. We don't really have the clout to quell a civilian panic. Notwithstanding monster hunting. But if we're gonna monster hunt, we gotta. That's my number one priority right now. So I'll take some folks. We can split up and start going through any centralized maintenance shafts, tunnels, areas in each of the major hubs.
All right, and I gotta go up and make an announcement over the whole colony for this. So,
well, if they, we don't have our civilians. Actually, this would be out of character since Ransom would know this. But can civilians be armed or do they have personal arms on the call?
There are some civilians who did bring some personal firearms, but they are generally kept locked up.
All right. Well, my suggestion, my input is that we try and get the civilians involved rather than just telling them to sit tight. Because if we just do that, they're going to panic. So we get volunteers to watch over people, but people are gonna know how dangerous this thing is, and they're gonna want to do something. So we just have to get to a point where we can safely search for this thing without civilians getting in the way. We're just basically gonna have to get them to protect themselves.
Group. All right, I'll put that in the announcement that anybody who has a firearm to report to the marshal's offices, and we'll get them temporarily deputized.
Yeah, last thing we need is having an us versus them sort of mentality in the populace. We can't afford that right now.
All right. Well, let's get on this. We don't need panic setting in before we even have a chance to act.
All right. So, Ransom will sort of, I guess, deputize the Marines. Not that they really need it, but
the Marines are definitely going to be acting in their own capacity. They don't necessarily need to be deputized because, like, they are literally in the role that they're supposed to be in right now.
Yeah.
So
I'll give them. We'll
obviously there's only 3 of them, so they are going to be, working with you as amicably as possible, but they are not necessarily under your command. They are more like a if this was like a raid, they're like an alliance group with you.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. So we'll divvy up the. I'll put my head together with them and sort of take a leadership role with the marshals and sort of divvy up the divide and conquer, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I guess with the civilians, we just want to make sure that everyone is like has a buddy system. No one's sort of left straggling because that's how it's gotten them before. But we're gonna have to take that approach with our patrols as well. So,
right.
How many groups do we have of 3 folks each?
Just between the marshals and the Marines?
Yeah.
Let's see. You probably have there was about 30 total marshals in the colony.
Okay. Well, so we'll have if we can get everyone to the HAB complex,
and that includes you and Richardson.
Right. If we can get at least either everyone at the HAB complex or everyone who is at a given complex to centralize in a given place, then we can have we'll have a certain contingent of marshals sort of standing guard over them, and then if we can have 2 groups to a hub, we can sort of keep track of each other and sort of sweep. But it's going to be a hard thing to do. The colony's pretty big, but we got to do what we got to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So go to the area. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 main areas in the colony itself, and those areas are obviously fairly large in and of their own. So,
yeah, not counting the atmospheric processor.
Correct.
We're going to have to just assume, unless this thing moves really, really quickly, that it's not based out of the atmospheric processor. But
I don't know if mentioned this or if you asked about it, but there is a very long maintenance shaft that goes underground between the colony and the atmospheric processor.
Right. Well, knowing that I do that it bleeds acid, or at least it has some sort. It has some sort.
I don't think you shot it.
I didn't, but when I found when I investigated the scientist's death, it was apparent through one of the investigation roles that the scientist had attacked or defended himself, and there was some sort of
corrosive material on the weapon. Yeah.
That's one clue maybe we can use. We also know that I'm fairly sure that whatever rubbery sort of xeno material that I found in the vent was part of it. So we're looking for some sort of biological material, but we just got to do what we got to do. Do all we can. So if we have 30 folks, then we have what, maybe say 6 marshals. If we can corral people into the labs and living quarters, for example, have them keep watch or keep guard, and then we have the rest of them,
Yeah. So I mean, they're like everybody can more or less fit in the living quarters. Like there's enough. Like they made sure that there's not more people than there is living spaces in the living quarters. So technically, everybody can fit in the living quarters.
Okay. So if we can get everyone in there, then we can watch the entrances into it. Make sure everyone is relatively comfortable, or as comfortable as they can be in the living quarters, and we can at least know that they're safe there. And then we can start searching the rest of the base.
Okay. How many? So while you're trying to like get all this figured out, eventually, you hear. This is Head Marshal Richardson from the Colonial Marshals. As I'm sure many of you are aware, there is some sort of hostile life form in the colony. We are letting you know that the Marshals and the Marines are currently attempting to handle it. However, we are lacking in manpower to cover the entire colony. So, if you were approved in bringing a firearm onto the colony, we would ask you to acquire it and report to the Marshal's office so that you may be temporarily deputized for the endeavor. Head Marshal Richardson's out.
That's a start. All right, so in that case, I'll wait for the rest of the marshals to muster in the admin, then we'll go over the plan and execute it.
All right, so you get about another probably somewhere between 50 and 60 people that have firearms on them.
Okay. Then I'll want...
Question for Nelson: do you have a firearm?
I don't believe Nelson does have a firearm.
Okay.
He's got, let's see here. He's got some power tools that are probably locked up where he was working at, but nothing else.
Okay. Well, who does have a firearm? Your good buddy Kyle.
I was gonna ask that if you weren't gonna bring it up.
He knocks on your door and says, like, "Bro, got an extra one. You want to go hunting?"
Hell yeah! Shit. Wait, Nelson, I don't think knows how to actually fire.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. And Nelson has 0 ranged combat.
Hell yeah! Let's fucking go. 0 range combat. All right.
It looks like you know how to use one of these?
Not at all, but I guess today's the day, huh?
Yeah. This is the dangerous part. Make sure the dangerous part is pointed toward the thing you want to shoot and pull the trigger.
That sounds easy as can be. What can possibly go wrong?
Sean, you also hear this announcement. I forgot to put in the announcement that they want everybody to head toward anybody who is not have a weapon to be to be deputized to stay in their rooms, but that is also part of the announcement. So, Sean, you also hear this announcement. What is your reaction to this?
Don should already be in his apartment. Is his husband there?
He is currently in the medical wing.
He's probably going to chime Yuki to see what he's doing. Hopefully he'll answer.
So you call up Yuki and says, "I'm a little busy at the moment."
What is going on down there with you?
Well, we've got injured from the incident that happened in the recreation area, so yeah, a little busy.
All right, I'll chat with you soon. Click. Sean's going to go to the terminal that he has in his room and try and access anything else that wasn't in the announcement. Like if there's anything that's been recorded that he would have access to, just to see if he can read up on what's on any kind of notes that have been submitted, just to get some inside gossip, as it were.
So you're looking through a terminal and you're kind of going through the colony's internet network, and
Sure.
It looks like somebody who was there kind of caught part of the incident as like everybody was panicking on video. And so you see Mr. Sharp of all people running out of the actual like diner saying, "Fucking run!" And this very large, sleek black creature kind of crashed through the door. And as people, the person who is recording it, like that's when the video starts to get all shaky, as the person who is recording it obviously started running away themselves.
And this is the first time Sean would have seen this black, slick creature.
Correct. You feel like it is somewhat reminiscent of the creature that you brought back, but it is definitely still different. Whereas the thing that you brought back was much more fleshy and skin-like, this thing looked more insectile and possibly like, naturally armored. Chitness is the word I'm looking for.
All right. Sean's going to get redressed now that he's showered and fixed himself a meal, and he's going to make his way down through the living quarters and go back up to the admin center.
Okay. As you are like moving, like there's a lot of people moving to and from in like the major thoroughfares, like the court area of the living quarters is packed as people are trying to get in and get in the elevators and whatnot and go to their floors. Other people are trying, like you see other people with firearms trying to make their way through. People are trying to make way for them, but like it's still a fairly packed house at the moment. And so like this whole area right here is very congested with people. The marshals are trying to keep order as much as possible. But with any situation, all this powder keg needs is a match to light for things to go horribly wrong.
And Sean will be waving his Weyland-Yutani ID badge, which will hopefully give him some clearance to get out of that space and to make it down. Let me out of here. To get
People are looking at you're all like, Weyland-Yutani exec, let me through. Everybody's all like, we don't give a fuck right now.
So he's going against the wave of traffic, right? Because everyone's headed towards the elevator. He's
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there are some people
he's
who,
maneuvering.
Yeah, there are some people who are trying to make their way out. Well, obviously, like I said, the ones that are heading to be deputized. You can
Sure.
probably kind of try and follow the wake behind them, but it's still a very slow-going process.
Yeah, so he'll kind of follow on the nearest one's coattail. That's closest to him, so they can kind of part the Red Sea, and he'll just follow right behind them to continue on towards the admin center.
Okay. All right, so everybody eventually kind of like makes their way in there. I'll go ahead and just kind of, you want to drag your little tokens to wherever you want to be at, or wherever it is that you're heading. Nelson, I know you said you're heading to be deputized, so.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot. Let me, okay. Wait, like right here?
Yeah.
Oh,
you'll,
right.
you'll be in this area right here.
Okay.
And I just want to say, out of character, that someone is setting off fireworks in my neighborhood. So if my dogs spontaneously start barking, I will mute myself as quickly as possible.
All right. No, it's just background stuff. There's dogs on the colony.
Well, that's very possible. Yeah, very possible.
All right. So, what is before I get back to Ransom and everybody there? What is Sean doing?
Would Sean know or have access to a firearm?
Not unless you brought one with you.
Okay, he did not. So, he doesn't want to be left unguarded, though. So he might make his way over to the marshal's office just to see if there's a spare firearm for him to procure.
You know what? If you ask around, somebody will eventually hand you a pistol.
Okay.
Damn. Is that all it takes?
Well, it's
Well,
kind
I
of
have
like
that Weyland-Yutani badge. That's what's. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, there are some people, especially like some of the miners and whatnot, who, were, into guns and stuff like that while they were on Earth and everything like that, and they were allowed to bring on like a like either a single shot rifle or a shotgun and a pistol.
Hmm.
So
This is clearly an American colony. So.
Well, I mean, it is a joint colony between Weyland-Yutani and the United Americas. So,
what stats do you want me to use for the pistol?
whatever. Oh, just the standard sidearm.
Okay.
Probably should have asked that too. Let's see here.
If you give me a minute, I'll pull it up.
I should probably pull up the core book as well so that I have it with me.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's the Xenomorph page. Gear. Okay, so it is a +2 bonus and 1 damage. Yeah, inexpensive 9mm pistol, standard sidearm for the Marines. Always have a backup for your backup. This pistol might as well be
2 damage,
1 damage.
1 damage.
It was the
Short
+2
range?
goes to the bonus.
Yeah, the +2 is the bonus, so you get a +2. Like you roll 2 more dice when using it. I believe is how that works.
Yeah.
Short range or medium?
Medium range.
Okay. No bonus. Nothing on. What's the CC and RC? Oh, close combat, range combat. Never mind. Okay.
Steve, if you want to, and still kind of like go the way of being Isaac from Dead Space, I'll allow you like an engineering role of some kind to like make yourself like a bolt gun or something like that.
Bolt gun. Fuck yeah.
Aren't bolt guns in the book like very specific? Like these are improvised or often improvised.
Yeah. Construction tool that uses expanding bullets to make emergency hole repairs, can be turned into an improvised weapon. Firing bullets like a single round shotgun. Trick first used by Frontier Rebels, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, like, if you want to, like, make me an engineering role or something like that, what would be the...
What's the what are the pros and cons of doing this?
So it has no bonus to your ranged combat rolls, but it has a damage of 3 and it's armor piercing.
Oh. Which roll is that for again?
See, to make it, what am I gonna do? What I'm gonna have to use here? Probably heavy machinery would be what you would use to try and make it. All right, you got a success. You have made one of these because at some point in your in the time when you heard about the first big fuck off monster that was outside on the planet, you're like, you know, maybe I should put something together.
Nice.
So it is a
damage of 3.
yeah. So as a damage of 3, it is a single shot. So every time you fire it, your next turn you have to take an action to reload it.
Okay. Did you say anything else about something that I might have to add to this, or?
Nope. It's it's a 0 bonus, 3 damage. It is short range instead of medium.
Gotcha.
And for the purposes of like how range bands work in this game, short range is basically in the room with you. Medium range is is able to fire into the next room. Long range is being able to fire into the next room after that, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Like for the purposes of like where you guys are right now in like the admin office, like short range would be like this entire square right here. So like the entire square that the marshal offices are in would be short range, and then medium range would being able to fire in here and in the square adjacent to you.
Okay.
So the bolt gun can fire it basically in the area, in this square area that you guys are currently in right now.
Got it. Alrighty.
All right, so Ransom, you got your militia here. You see a couple of you see a lot of them are miners and whatnot. Some of them are there's a couple of administrative types and whatnot, and a few maintenance personnel. And you see Sean Anderton of all people in the group as well.
Oh, okay. In that case, I get everyone together with a schematic of the colony. First of all, I'm going to let people volunteer to stay at the Hab complex and guard it. We need to have both the actual entrance and also the maintenance tunnels that head into that feed into the Hab complex covered. That's our first move.
How much coverage do you want in there? Because there's like somewhere between like 15 and 20 floors.
I didn't think it was that big, but
there's 1,000 people on this colony.
That's true. I mean, just like it, essentially, we just want people on the choke points in and out of the Hab complex. We will have a different team that will sort of sweep the maintenance shafts or the maintenance areas within the Hab complex itself before moving on. If we can confirm that the monster is not in the Hab complex, then all that's really left to us to do is to guard it from without.
So like how many people would you want to guard it?
How many people? So we have what? About 100 people, you'd say?
Roughly, yeah.
Depending on how many different
like you could definitely fit at least like 2 people per floor and still have still have good amount of people left over. You still have about 60 people left over.
Gotcha. Let's see. And so wait, are you talking about like 20 different floors of maintenance shafts?
I mean, the shaft, like all the different stuff goes from top to bottom on it.
Oh, it does. Oh, I thought it was like all underground, like sort of I thought it would be more.
So like as far as like major maintenance points and whatnot, there's like one like every 5 floors, but it leads off into like ventilation and whatnot that goes to like every room.
Right. But like I said, if we could man those choke points and just have like we could just literally like we could take the entire force or most of it at least and install people at those choke points and then clear the Hab complex or at least discount the possibility that it's there, then we don't have to worry about we won't have to worry about those all the different forks and permutations. We just have to make sure that nothing gets in from without rather than and then that would leave us what if they're like
so if you want to just put like people on the floors of the choke points, there's about 5 points of that as far as like the major maintenance points in the actual habitation.
In that case, I want 4 people on each floor on each of those checkpoints. 2 is too little, too few.
Okay.
And then we'll take the rest of our folks. Same thing if we can get 3 to 4 people per team and start doing sweeps. Have many, hand out as many radios as we can, and sort of actually approach this from a systematic perspective of like having people check in every 10 minutes with their on a given team's frequency or given Hab frequency, and just basically try and cover as many bases as we can.
Okay.
And then I'm going to have Anderton with me, as well as Richardson, and we'll be a team. And then yep. And then because he sees what's his name? What's my name? Ransom sees Anderton and calls him over and sees that he has a gun and says, "Good, you're with us."
Huh?
And then we are going to we're gonna start deploying people to those checkpoints and have a pretty sizable contingent of the search teams methodically go through the maintenance tunnels and life support things and everything to sweep the Hab complex floor by floor. Get it done quickly, and then we can move on.
Okay. Point that you might not have thought of. So the medical team is currently still in the medical lab because they can't really just leave the people there unattended.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to have any people stay behind at the actual like med lab area?
Yeah, we'll have one team of 4 folks there because I mean it's not a huge place, right? I mean the where's the because it's in the marshal office and cells, right? Or at least that's where we were.
No, the med lab is is down below you down here.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll have our group that on the floor at the admin complex stay there, med lab.
Okay. Do you want to have actual marshals do that, or just like a militia team?
As ideally, we would have a mixture, like we do. If possible.
Are you basically trying to have like a marshal like lead every team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ideally. Yeah, because and basically, we distribute what we know about this thing, what it looks like, and just try and tell people to stay together and don't get jumpy because we don't want people shooting one another.
Okay. All right. So you start. So people start. Disseminating about, and you start all kind of heading out. So where? So you have. It's you. Excuse you. What do you want? Freaking cats running all over the place, just ran up to the chairs like, "Hey!" All right, so, well, actually, is there any like conversation between Ransom and Anderton or anything like that before this all, starts to, before everybody really starts to head off?
I'm glad we could count on your expertise and hunting this thing down.
John's going to give kind of a smirk. Clearly, he was just here to grab a gun, and he had no real intention of sticking around and being voluntold what to do. But now he's kind of drafted and just going along with it. And he will, be a few steps behind Ransom as Ransom takes the lead.
All right. So Ransom and company will start the sweep of the Hab complex, the living quarters.
Okay.
We have people starting from the top and people starting from the bottom and meeting in the middle.
Right. So let's see. Where do you guys want the Marine group to start?
Have them. I can start in their barracks. They can make sure that everything is ship-shape there, and then we could basically just I'll have my radio keyed to their frequency as well, and sort of check in with them. And but they're not under my command, so I can't technically tell them where to go. If they have their own procedures, so if they have a better idea, they're welcome to start working.
Okay. Oh, and point of reference, because you said you wanted Richardson with you. Richardson right now is staying up in the comms area, which is in the upper part of the admin office. So
Cool.
he's hanging out in there right now, kind of like overlooking everything.
Yeah,
As
that's a
it
good
were.
idea. Actually. Yeah, and have him like coordinate check-ins or just basically this idea of like a hub and spoke model of having different people different clusters of teams that are searching different areas, like keep in touch with one another in case like if one of them goes dark, then we follow up.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So where is Nelson and his group going? Because I assume Nelson and Kyle are sticking together, and a couple of other guys are going to be in there. So where are you guys going?
Oh, I thought you were asking him. Um,
Players have their own agency here, so
no, yes, but
wherever you're going is basically where Ransom ordered you to go.
yeah, that's what I thought was going on.
But you, as the player, get to pick where you're going to go.
I guess I'm gonna follow with how Ransom was thinking about going with how things were gonna go, because with Nelson's mindset, he's just kind of like, all right, sure, whatever, let's get this thing taken care of, because if he doesn't go with it, then there's already some imbalance with communication, and he'd rather just get the job done, kind of a thing.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like everybody's pretty much every player character at least is going to be starting in the living quarters area.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way that I imagine it's set up is that every team lead has a radio.
Correct.
Okay. And then the Marines obviously have their own radios and whatnot. So the stuff that you guys have is it's not like your standard shortwave walkie talkies and stuff like that. It's basically kind of like it's your standard communication device, right? And everybody is kind of like basically what I imagine happens is like everybody kind of like syncs up their communication device into like just like one big group chat type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, if we have, depending on how many groups we have, that might work. Then part of that hub and spoke model I was thinking of was, Richardson keeping track of, 5 or 6 groups, and just for expediency's sake, like each of those groups checks in with one another, and sort of if there's an issue, then they run it up the chain, but making it not too complex, but also just like not everyone in one big, I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever been on like a Skype meeting with a whole organization's worth of people, but it is a fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Like especially if you have like a like if you even just have a sound that plays when someone clicks their to talk button, it's just going to be like that sound, like echoing through the entire thing. Nobody's going to be able to get a word in edgewise. So I want to avoid that.
Yeah. Okay. So then what I'll say is like the way it's set up is like it's still kind of like a big like group chat hub or whatever, but it's basically centered around where like Richardson is set up in the administration tower, in the communications tower.
Mm-hmm.
And so like he and like the people up there are just kind of are basically monitoring the whole thing. So you have like one person monitoring like 3 or 4 groups at a time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Doable.
So, question for Sean. How long are you going to put up with this quote unquote farce that you're running along right now? Or are you going to just kind of go along with it until it's done?
I mean, he will clearly be like looking at the equivalent of a cell phone of like praying someone calls him, sends him an email, sends him a message, anything to distract him from this, because this is clearly not what he wanted to be doing. And it's very evident to everyone in the party that Sean is not interested in doing this and that he's just completely distracted by looking at his watch, right? So they're spreading out through the living quarters, right?
Oh yeah, currently y'all are on the lower floor of the living quarters, which is, this one right here. And it's basically like, this big open area which generally has a bunch of like, chairs and sitting areas, and then you have all of like the little shops and stalls and everything like that around there. It's still fairly crowded in there as people are still trying to get up into the onto their floors and whatnot, and people are also kind of like filtering into like this area because it has stairs that goes up and down to each floor as well, so there's still a lot of traffic going on in the area. It's not as bad as when you were trying to get out, but it is still pretty bad.
So, his priority is going to be to try and make it back to the admin center and then down to the med bay just to check on Yuki.
Okay.
Yuki. So he's going to kind of like fake like he's talking to someone because, all of us have done this before. We take a fake phone call to get out of something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he's going to do as he kind of like starts to sidestep away from Ransom.
So I mean, so there's actually two ways that you can go about this. You can you can try and like go that way, or you could even try and use the crowd to your advantage and like stealth away.
Yeah.
Which stealth would be a mobility check, which you are not great at, but that is an option.
Well, let me get a roll in just to see if I'm sneaky, or if Sean is sneaky. No, not so much.
Yeah.
Sean is not sneaky.
No.
What are you up to there, Mr. Rance or Mr. Anderton?
Mr. Anderton.
Mr. Anderton. Well, Ransom, Marshall, I have an important phone call I need to take back in the executive offices. You're doing a great job, and Wayland Yutani is very grateful to have you on our colony here. But I need to take this. Then I'll be back. I'll be back.
Actually, why don't you? We will go back to the admin. We'll go back to the admin center after this sweep. We have a responsibility here, as I'm sure you understand.
Sean's going to not take very kindly to that. So how can he? Would it be manipulation to do that? To kind of
what
like
he's trying
shrug
to
off
do.
what he's saying. He just doesn't want to listen. He just wants to shrug it off and do his own thing.
Oh, I mean, like you can just do that, but
Yeah.
because that's more of a role play thing. If you want to try and convince him to let you go, you guys can try and roll manipulation against each other, and then you can like depending on how it goes, you can like either role play it out Ransom just doesn't think it's worth it to keep you around or what have you, or just roleplay the whole thing.
Yeah. What would you prefer to do?
Are you asking me or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, General. Do you want to
Um,
roll or do you want to role play it?
I mean, what do you have a preference?
I do, but I'm going to let you decide.
We can roll.
Okay.
It's Manepi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this would basically be like you two trying to convince each other that, yeah, no, I'm gonna go do this thing. No, we're gonna stick together and all this other kind of stuff, and basically, not necessarily like browbeat the other down, but just kind of like talk each other over and whatnot.
All right, so I'm gonna have to roll panic, I guess. Do we want to use that specific skill roll chart, or?
I'm gonna have it up. I'm gonna look at what you get and see if it makes sense. And if it does, we can use it. And if it doesn't, then
Well,
I'll use it. Which I need
I-
to. Where did I put that?
well, I rolled a 4, which I'm pretty sure under 6 is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, like under 6, nothing happens anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, I think I win that exchange. Unfortunately for Anderton. But he'll get up close and say, I'm sure company business is very important, but you have to understand the entire colony is grinding to a halt right now, and if you want to get back to your work, the quickest way to do so is to help us take this thing off the board, so to speak. Does that sound good to you?
I would like to push that roll.
Okay.
So I type in the -1.
+1.
No, you add 1 stress. Add 1 stress. Roll again.
Right, but I'm not re-rolling the success I already have.
So yeah, -1 to the regular amount.
So yeah, it would just be a regular and then like your last.
You need to add 1 stress die to that.
I thought I did.
Did you do it on your sheet?
Yeah.
You just roll 1 die then, in addition to that.
Yeah.
That would be a panic die. There should be a button for just actual stress die.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I'll still take the other one because it's still a D6. So you got a total of like 2 successes, or 3 successes actually,
Yeah.
which ties.
I forget how a tie is broken in this particular instance.
I forget if ties go to the attacker or defender in this case, or in the case of this game, if it goes to attacker defender.
Who's attacking and who's defending?
In this case, Anderton was trying to convince you to let him leave.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like trying to figure out which is which. Let me see. This is actually, I think, the first like technically PvP role of the entire campaign. Let's see, page 32 and 213.
I think you're right.
Okay.
And under combat.
I'm looking at the little PvP stuff right now.
Oh, okay.
That's not it. What is the other page for it? 32. Cool PvP inclusion of that PC is turned. That's that doesn't do that. Might be in the combat section. I believe in this case, actually, ties go to the defender because you need to have one more success than what you're going for.
As the attacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's a close one, but Mr. Ransom is not convinced. He considered it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how much do I want this annoying exec on my tail the entire time?
Oh, very much.
And Sean just gonna kind of, his shoulders will slouch, and he'll just roll his eyes. But let's just get this over with as quickly as possible.
Okay.
We're on the same page.
All right, so you guys, once it clears up enough to actually walk around, I mean, you guys are kind of like pushing through and whatnot, but eventually it clears up to where you can walk around without bumping into somebody every single step. So how are you starting this sweep action?
Well, we're gonna do very basic sweep and clear. I mean, this thing is gonna be pretty hard to miss considering how big it is. So we just go door to door, basically, and we
Okay.
go.
So you're basically starting from the top, going down to the main maintenance shaft, and then heading out?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you go through the entirety of the habitation block, and that takes you the better part of an hour, just to get down from the top to the bottom, and you don't really see anything on your sweep of doing this.
That's good news.
And you get down to the very bottom level again, and you're then down to where the main maintenance shaft is.
Cool. I'll check in with Richardson, see if he's got any updates on any of the other teams, anything out of the ordinary happening.
Nothing yet. Everything seems to be all clear so far.
All right. Onward and upward, or downward, as it were. Okay. In that case, I'll keep my word. Once we're out of once we've swept the Hab complex, we're gonna take those teams and distribute them through recreation, Marine barracks, NADMIN. Basically, we'll do in 2 parts: admin, Marine barracks, and recreation, and then ship terminal, or labs and process disposal, and then we can wrap it up with a rail. But want to make sure we have a pretty good amount of people going through each particular.
Okay, so you're heading here, then you're going here, and then the admin office.
So he will, Ransom will keep his word and head to the admin office. His team will go to the admin office after the living quarters have been swept.
Okay. All right, so you're in the admin office. Sean, what is it that you I mean, obviously you were just kind of trying to get away, but what is your excuse or whatever once you've gotten here?
he was honest that he wanted to check on the on his husband in the medical unit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you guys would be coming up from like this direction, so passing by there obviously isn't a
Okay.
big deal.
Yeah.
So is Sharp with us? I mean, we could just as easily
Oh no, yeah, that was a good question.
as Sharp, Anderton.
I mean, that is a question. Does Sharp's group follow, or do you have them go somewhere else?
I mean, we could just easily retcon it so that it's Anderton, Ransom, Nelson, and his friend as like one team. If that makes sense.
I mean, that's fine if you want to keep the party together, as it were.
Unless Nelson wants to, go somewhere else. I mean, Ransom is very specific about wanting Anderton close by, but Sharp, he's, not one way or the other on. So if Sharp wants to go somewhere else or check another place, he can.
I'm indifferent. Either or.
All right,
Or worse.
keep everyone together.
Okay.
All right, yeah. Ransom will probably know that that Anderton has his husband in the med lab, and he'll let them meet up, or he won't like get in the way at least.
Yeah, I mean, the spouses of everybody is kind of something that the marshals are supposed to at least be aware of. So, yeah, you would know who Anderton's husband is.
Yeah, it'd be in public record. So
Yeah. So Anderton, I mean, you get there to the med lab and you check in on it, and you check in on Yuki. Like there's like windows on in various areas that you can just kind of like look in on the doors and whatnot, and you can like see Yuki kind of diligently working away, making sure that everyone who is in the medical wing at the moment is taken care of.
Yeah. Well, Sean would be satisfied with that, and he's not going to stick around, nor will he interfere with what's going on in there. And then he will reconnect with Ransom and Sharp.
Okay. While you're doing that, Sean, you get a text message on your communication device from the science lab saying that, with the message of we have some information for you, basically is what it's saying.
Science lab is going to be in the different. Oop, didn't mean to do that.
yeah, it's that's that whole like.
Yeah,
it's on a map. Right?
You guys are here, and that's
Yeah.
all the way over there.
Okay, Sean will then go to the nearest terminal and type in the code to call the science lab. Assuming there are public terminals somewhere in here.
I mean, like, you can just literally call on your regular device.
Oh, fine, that's fine. This is Anderton. What do you have?
Well, we have our preliminary findings. Very interesting creature. We think that you might want to come in, us, maybe to look at it.
What's that again? I didn't copy you.
Sorry. Anderton, can you hear?
Oh, these damn communicators. Hello? Hello?
Wait, is this intentional, or is this actual like IRL problem?
No, that's intentional. I'm using a filter for that.
Ah,
Can't believe Pete fucking died.
okay.
We don't know if Peter's playing or if it's actually happening in the game.
No, it is a filter. And funny thing is, like, I just went ahead and said what I was going to, and I don't know what information ended up getting through and what didn't.
Marshall, something. I can't get a clear answer out of the science labs. Their comms keep breaking.
I'll check with Richardson. Richardson, how's our connection to the science labs?
Some is God damn it. If you can hear me, reply.
Cry.
Richardson, can you hear me? That's just fucking great. In that case, I mean, we're in the admin place, so we can head up to the communication hub.
All right.
All right.
Physically go there.
Yeah, like the stairs for it are like these spots right here, and it's the map that's like right next to this one.
Oh, right. All right. So we'll head up there. Double time.
Okay. Guess I'll.
Yeah, you guys basically are going over here.
Oh wait. Ah. Oh, my map. Hold on. Oh wait. Am I in the right place? Or
Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of one of those things where it's like they both like serve kind of the same, purpose. It's just one side is able to kind of like look out at one area, the other side is able to look out at another.
right.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, we'll check in with Richardson and see if we can nail down what this communication breakdown is.
So you got something in the lab, Sean? Something from the the basement?
What?
I don't know.
Oh, your lame attempt at a joke. How hilarious.
I don't know why y'all are phasing through the walls. There's a door right here. Uncivilized. Shit.
Kool-Aid.
But yeah, so I mean, you find Richardson up there, and he sees you and is all like, "Ransom, and Jesus Christ,
What's up? Why we're getting some interference on the comms? What's going on?"
yeah, I don't know. One moment everything was fine, and then we talked with one of the groups, and all of a sudden the signal started to break up horribly. Haven't been able to get a single string of communication out since.
Ah, shit. Where's our do we have centralized I mean, if we can't get our comms in between levels of the same hub, then we're gonna have to. I mean, we're not gonna be able to centrally organize this thing. So I'll need you to get on the horn and repeatedly send out just to have people muster at their centralized place and make sure no one gets broken up. But we need. Or Nelson, are you good with Comtech? I know I am.
Let me check. Hold on. Tech. That is a 1.
What about heavy machinery?
Yep. I got 3 on heavy machinery. We'll be solid.
Right. We need to go check the hardware that supports wireless communication. Either something is messing with it, or there's something we can do to improve the situation. Is that going to be on the outside of the um, complex, or is that somewhere internal?
That's actually on the outside of the towers itself.
Mm.
Okay. Well, we need that. We need those comms back up. I'm pretty good with the electron or with the OS side of things. If you could help me out with any physical hardware, just check it, make sure it's all good. Our folks are sitting ducks out there without communication.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get to it then.
All right, Anderton, what do the labs want? What are they talking about?
That's what I'd like to figure out. Not able to get a strong communique.
All right. Well, let's see. I mean, ideally there's a pretty. I mean, we'd have to get pressure suits on, but there's a pretty. Hopefully, there's a simple way to get to the.
Yeah, there's like scaffolding and stuff like that. It's, you know, the dishes and the antennae and everything like that were meant to be able to be accessed by humans. So,
all right, well, let's go. Let's up and let's go.
okay. So, takes you guys a few minutes, but you stood up and everything. And then about 15 minutes later, you guys are able to head out, and basically you're just on like the outside of the towers here.
Okay.
And then there's like I said, scaffolding and staircasing that leads up to the roof of the towers.
Okay, I'll have my gun ready just in case, but we definitely don't expect any living thing out here.
Okay, does Sean go out there, or does he do the executive thing and just supervise from a safe, warm spot?
I think in this instance he'll want to participate because he probably doesn't want to be left alone.
Oh, he wouldn't be left alone. Like, there's other people in the area.
Oh, there will be.
Yeah, like there's the communication technicians. Richardson's in there. Like, there are people there.
Oh,
Okay.
oh yeah, definitely. Then yeah, he'll stay back, stay behind.
Okay.
You're doing a great job. Great job.
Uh-huh.
Chicky, why you bother me so much?
Attention.
You don't get fed for an hour.
All right, so what do we find up there?
So you get up there. So there's a whole lot. Like, there's a lot of equipment up here, right? A lot of antennae, and some, like, you know, dishes and everything like that. Obviously, it's meant to set up communications between the colony and the station, as well as you know, have intercolony communication up and everything like that as well. But as you get up there, it's not really a role that needs to be made per se for this, because it's
Okay.
You definitely see that some of the stuff is mangled.
Is it clear that how it was mangled? Was it just smashed up or cut, or?
I assume that we're still on the,
Yeah, I mean, like the equivalent, it would look like somebody took a baseball bat to it and just kind of started smashing some of the stuff up.
Looks like our
You
monster.
you can see some, like, wires are, like, torn out and cut, or at least, like, look like they're cut or torn across.
All right. Do we have? What's it going to take to repair?
That is a good question. Let me take a look real quick. Or was it heavy machinery or observation with that? My bad.
Heavy machinery would work as well.
Okay.
I mean, like you could do. I would say like heavy machinery, but use like wits as the main stat for it. So,
Yeah, how do I even do that?
let's see. I think there's a way you can just make a die roll. Just do it this way. Hit the base dice button, add your wits and heavy machinery together, and then you can then hit the stress dice button, and then add your and do a stress die roll on that.
I don't know what the hell you just told me. Hold on.
All
Okay,
right,
base
so
die
on-
roll.
so-
I have
Yeah, so on your sheet, you see the buttons that say base dice and stress dice, like above center.
above center base dice. Yes, stress dice. Yes.
Yeah, so
Okay.
hit base dice,
Okay.
and then put in the number that adds your heavy machinery and wits.
So if I have 3 heavy machinery and 2 wits, that's just 5.
Yeah,
And okay. And then I
And-
submit.
yeah, and then hit your hit the stress dice button, and put in however many stress dice you get.
3.
All right. So you're able to, I mean, with 2 successes, you're able to figure out like what's going to need to be done, but it's not going to be a quick fix because you're going to have to, some of the wires, you can kind of like, splice together and whatnot, but you're going to have to like, cut them down a little bit so that you have a clean connection point and whatnot. But the actual like equipment itself is going to take a lot longer to repair.
Hmm. So give or take, if I had the right equipment, it'd be like 30 minutes to an hour.
That would just be for the wiring.
Oh, okay.
For the actual like equipment itself, it'd probably take about a day or 2.
Oh shit. Okay.
At least to make sure that everything is up and properly working.
Right.
And we have Tex down with Richardson, right? Because could we maybe expedite that with extra manpower?
Like the minimum amount it would take is a day.
Damn. All right.
Well,
Does
this
it-
shit's not going to be moving in too soon.
Yeah, and you're not actually sure what the full extent of the damage is. You don't know if there's like any other like underlying things that you just can't see at the moment.
All right. Well, I mean, good thing I guess is that we had marshals in charge of our search parties, so hopefully they should be able to, refer to our standard procedure once comms go down and keep people safe. But we know, unless there's we have an actual saboteur in our midst, that it's been here and not long ago.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back down to Richardson and just let him know the extent of things. Maybe get some people to work on fixing this. But obviously, we don't want our player characters, doing maintenance all day.
Alrighty. Well, I guess we could head on down here. It looks like we can't really do much from where we are.
Yep. Question for Sean: does Sean stick around, or does he take this opportunity to skedaddle?
He's going to take this opportunity to go back to the executive offices.
Okay. Just
It is in this. Yep. Here we go. Da, 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 da.
so yeah. So what is Sean doing?
Sean's going to try and get in touch with to see if like an actual terminal, as opposed to the like his own personal mobile, would have a better connection to the science lab.
Okay. So yeah, so you get like on your computer and try sending just like an instant like chat message or whatever to the to the lab that you have them looking at this, and you get a reply on that because then that seems to be working.
Good. This is Anderson. Tell me what you've got with the specimen.
They basically say like they have their initial findings. You know, you might want to come and see for yourself so that we don't have to explain it over text.
Well, the colony's on lockdown right now, so I'm not sure traversing over there is the best idea. But I'm very confident all of your work is fine, and this is a huge contribution to the company. So I'll make sure that's noted in your records.
You get a reply and say, big saying, it's like, if you insist, we will continue our work over here.
Actually reminds me, if we don't have audio communication, would be able we might still have strong enough signal to get text.
So it's basically like using your actual like communication devices, which are kind of like basically using the equivalent of like Wi-Fi on the colony is not working at the moment.
Gotcha.
What Anderton was using was basically more of a hard-lined communication.
Gotcha. Well, still a good idea. I'll go to Richardson and have him send text instructions to the hardwired terminals around, and have them. I mean, there's probably a way to get them to like blink or indicate that there's a new message or a public service announcement to these, and try and organize our search parties that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, as like, so when you get into the tower again, you see that Anderton is gone. Do you how do you respond to that?
Well, what can I do? Just leave him for now. Don't really have the time or the patience to be chasing after grown men. So we continue on with our search of the admin building.
Okay.
All right.
All right. And Anderton, what is your next action?
I think he's just going to kind of chill in the executive offices there, because they're fairly quiet, I would assume, right? Or is the suite kind of busy with people?
No, you're actually the only person in there right now.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I think he's just going to kind of chill. And would he have access or permission to view like different security cameras? Could that be routed over to
no, not from where you are.
No. Would that be up at the marshals, or would that be down with tech support?
Yes.
I mean, if isolation is any indication, then that'd be in comms too, right? If it's at least the same level of tech.
So where you're at right now is like not necessarily for security like camera purposes, or at least not that I initially had said, but it would make sense that stuff is in there, but it is more mainly as kind of like an air traffic control tower type situation. So,
Okay.
I kind of relegated the security camera stuff to the marshal area more than anything else.
No. Well, we'd have marshals there certainly. We want people.
Yeah.
If there are real time cameras, we definitely want those.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be. So where again would the cameras be?
So it's either in the marshal's office, but the tech area can the tech support area can access them as well, because sometimes they need to remote in to make sure that stuff is working properly and everything like that.
Yeah. But there would be other people in the marshal's office, right?
Yeah, there are people in the marshal's office that are literally there to continue monitoring the station.
Okay. That's where Sean would go to them. Because he wants to see what's going on in the colony. Yeah. Yeah, so when he walks in, he's just kind of going to stand in the background and just watch and monitor the screens there in front of them, in front of the technicians, the security feeds.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, as soon as you open the door, like, one of them sees you, is like, can we help you?
I'm just here with the company to oversee the progress of the shutdown.
Well, it's going about as good as can be right now. And he like pulls up and he like points to the monitor that right now it looks like all the monitors are kind of like centered on the habitation area, because that's where all the people are, and they want to make sure that nothing is breaking out there. And looking at the monitors, you can see that everything is going rather smoothly in that area. It seems that almost everybody has kind of gotten out of the common area and have been able to move up to their floors.
Yeah.
There's just a couple stragglers left behind.
Well, Sean's going to remain in that space because I'd assume most of these people will be armed in some capacity.
Yeah, well, they're all marshals themselves, so yeah, they're.
Yeah, so he would feel secure in that space.
Okay. Do you try to like ask him to look at any spot in particular, or are you just kind of like looking?
He's just looking, and really he's just occupying that space because it's probably the most secure space in the colony, right?
I mean, as far as Sean's concerned, you got a few guys with guns with you, and they probably know how to use them better than you. So as far as Sean is concerned, then yeah, probably.
Yeah. So that's where he will stay.
Okay. Give me an observation check.
Sure.
All right. So while everybody is kind of looking intently at the stuff there, you see that there's a little blinking light on one of the on the console, kind of to the side. It's probably just outside of the marshal's vision, so he probably hasn't seen it.
Sean will kind of casually walk up to you said it's a screen? Is it?
No, like there's like a blinking light. It's a blinking red light.
There's no kind of indicator as to what it might mean, or there's no label, or.
Well, I mean, to you, it doesn't really mean anything, but to them, I'm sure it means something.
Yeah, so Sean will walk up to it and just kind of cross his arms and then kind of wave, with one hand over to one of the technicians and point and say, what does this mean?
The marshal looks over to you, is like, what? Oh shit!
Yes,
And
it's
he
right here.
he hits the button, and you see all of the monitor screens kind of like go to a single feed, and it's the lab area that you had left the the corpse in, and you see it there, this very large, slick, black creature, and it is currently tearing into the scientists that you had working on the corpse.
Oof.
Well, I joined him in the science room. Sean's jaw will drop as he just watches this gore on the camera.
Like there's sound and everything going on. Like you can kind of hear what's going on with all of it. Let me see. Do I have the no, I don't. Put it there. Damn. But like you can hear like the creature like snarling and screeching, and the scientists and everything like that screaming as they are being as they're being attacked. You see it pounce onto one, and it's kind of like turned away, but you can kind of maybe take a hint that it probably like bit onto the guy's head with the hole that's left in it. It slashes at another one's tail, or with its tail. There's the other one who's kind of like cowering in the corner that by like the alarm button, and as the xenomorph creature finishes with like the third with the third scientist, it just kind of like stalks over to the one in the corner. Kind of lifts, kind of like reaches down to grab him, and you think that it's going to like, maybe like bite at him or anything like that, but you see him like just kind of like start drooling, or at least like what looks like drool all over him. And the scientist itself is just kind of in this like what seems like a catatonic, like shocked state, and he's just like, he's not even moving. He's just letting this happen to him. And then after some time of that going on, the creature lifts up the scientist like he's nothing, and carries him off.
Yeah. Sean's going to be left speechless by what he just witnessed, and he'll kind of turn and look at the marshals to see if they saw what he saw.
Oh, they were watching. They were definitely watching
Yeah.
it, because it was like all of the monitors. It was kind of like one of those things where it's like a piece of like the screen was on like each monitor kind of thing.
Oh, so it made like a what's it called?
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
like,
a combined. Yeah.
yeah,
I can't think of the word.
a large multi-picture.
That's it. Yeah.
And shortly after the creature carried off the scientist, you see like a group of one of the groups doing the sweep show up, and they try, and you hear coming over the speakers, We're in the labs. Hello, anybody? Can anybody have these
Attention all Andromedans.
faculties?
Station operates in linear spacetime. Please refrain from using
Hey, please.
hyperspace travel and communications.
None of the comms work, but the bus announcement system still runs
Attention
fine.
all Andromedans. Station operates in linear spacetime.
Yeah, just ignore that.
Please refrain from using
Right.
hyperspace travel and communications.
What are we going to do about the science labs? Did you see what just happened?
They look at you, so like, did you see what just happened?
Well, why aren't you letting the security teams know where this thing is?
Right. So they like kind of like they queue into to what sounds like kind of a dispatch like radio looking thing, and they start talking into it. It's all like, all marshals, we have casualties in the biology labs. Creature was sighted. It was big. And everybody else on the other side kind of just hears. Marshal, we have an incident. Creature sighted. It's it was
Shit.
Well, we know that the creature was sighted. Okay, in that case, would Ransom know who was speaking there?
that came on your like actual like the radio that you have for like marshal communication. So you know that you at least know that it was supposed to be coming from the marshal's office.
All right, we'll hustle down there.
Okay.
Okay.
Is Sean going to be sticking around, or is he going to do something else? Oh, by the way, Anderton gained a point of stress.
I don't know why. Okay. Sean, yeah. Sean is probably going to stick in the marshal's office because he would still think that's the safest location to be in.
You have 30 minutes before you get fed. Stop poking me.
You getting headbutted?
Yep. Constant headbutts.
That's how they get you.
Yep. They'll do this for an hour before they're supposed to be fed. But yeah. Okay, so yeah, Sean, if you're gonna stick around, Ransom and Nelson, you two eventually get down there as well. Just kind of move you over there real quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see Anderton in there as well.
Well, look who it is.
He looks like he's having a good day.
You don't want to stick around with the, air traffic control comms or anything? No, just gonna. All right, cool.
I'll ask this marshal's there what is going on.
And they give you the lowdown of like what they saw.
Oh shit. Do we have eyes on it currently?
No, it took them in. Looked like it dragged them into the ventilation again.
Oh shit. Well, I have Richardson putting out that we don't have wireless communication right now, but we put out alerts to the hardwired public terminals at all of our spots. So have someone go up to Richardson and alert them. Have everyone tighten up and be on the lookout. We're gonna head over there.
All right, and one of the marshals that was monitoring the cameras goes to head up to the towers.
All right. Well, I hate playing fucking whack-a-mole, but it's hard to organize folks with more. I don't know. Ransom will mock up a message to send up to Richardson just to see if we can get people on a hardwired communication circuit. Get people, at least, or have people start basing their search around the public terminals so that we can keep track of folks. But right now, we have to rush over to the lab.
See, now I'm just imagining like this situation where it's like somebody's like trying to type like an emergency message into the thing, and then it just like they're looking at it and just like a little thing that pops up, it says like "seen."
Yeah.
Okay. Do you drag Anderton with you, or is Anderton? Does Anderton follow of his own accord,
I think
or is
he'll
Anderton
follow.
going to try and stay in the marshal's office where he feels it's safe?
He'll probably follow the two of them.
Also,
Ransom's team.
before we take off, where would someone get a rifle in here? Just asking for a friend.
We'd have to.
Depends what
Oh, he
kind
died.
you're talking about.
Just a standard pulse rifle.
That is military issue only.
Well, alrighty then.
It's not like you know how to use it, though.
No, of course not. No.
No, but actually, it's a good point. We do need to meet up with the marshals, if possible. See if we can.
The marshals are the Marines.
Sorry, the Marines.
Yeah. I mean, you could potentially find them on the cameras.
Good idea. Let's see if we can find them, and if we can, see if we can ping them on a terminal or something.
Okay. So you start cycling through the feeds, and you find them that they are currently sweeping the process disposal area.
All right, let's head that way then.
Okay.
Okay.
And we'll go there and we'll, loudly announce ourselves so they don't think we're, an alien.
Of course. You think eventually, though, it'd be better if we do happen to encounter this thing that we slap a tracker on it, in case if it gets away again. Seems to be good at that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully there aren't any other stragglers outside of the labs who are susceptible to this thing. If we have our routes covered correctly on HABs in the HAB complex, then it shouldn't pose, or at least we. Damn. Actually, that's a good. Now that I think about it, without wireless communication, we'll definitely want to figure out some way to keep keep access to the HAB complex secure.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
what's Kyle's whole skill set? Because I don't think I've seen it yet.
Kyle is basically like your basic roughneck.
Okay.
He has like 1 point in ranged combat. So
Okay. I'm assuming like roughly the same skills as me, just maybe a little less, I guess.
yeah, he's more on the manual labor side, so he has like a bit more heavy machinery. Like his heavy machinery would be about the same. He has like, I would say he has like 1 more point of stamina. He's got like a point of range combat. His mobility isn't as high. Observation's probably about 2 points lower.
Okay.
But yeah.
Alrighty then.
But you guys eventually meet up with the Marines. You get to and they have it. It looks like they decide to stick around in the disposal area. And as you get in there, you can hear them chat. You can like hear them talking to each other, and you can see that they're looking at something. As you like come as you kind of like come up through the hallway, one of them says, "Hold up! Stop moving."
Are we on the left side or the right side?
I'd be on the left side.
Okay.
Okay, we stop moving.
Yeah, and they're looking down at the contraption, and you can kind of hear it. As they are using a motion tracker to see if they can't find this thing.
All right.
So like, we think it's in this area somewhere, moving around under.
Yeah, we saw it. It appeared in the lab area not long ago. It's gone now, but you might be right.
Yeah, we think we saw something moving fast from that direction, and then it came into here. But we don't see. But obviously, like looking around, like you obviously don't see this thing anywhere. It's kind of hard to miss.
Yeah. Is there any like sub level or any sort of tunneling it might be doing?
Let's see. Would you quit?
I'm
Jesus.
sorry.
No.
Yeah, y'all. God damn it, shit. But let me look at your stuff. Okay, no, look, you gotta. I will get you fed when we're done. There's also another person that you can go bother for food. You know this, right? Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, I don't need you to make a roll on this. So, you do remember, like, looking at the schematics or whatever, that there is, like, piping and tunneling and everything like that. There is basically kind of a fairly large, like, maze's worth of it under this area. Because this is where a lot of, like, waste processing and everything like that goes.
All right. I'll alert them to this fact. If it's anywhere here, it's going to be under us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's a fairly large maze's worth of tunnels. So there's going to be Could be a lot of places that it could be.
Mm.
Okay. Well, motion tracker might help us in that respect. If we know our entry points, we can maybe either flush it out, or I could go in and see if I can intercept it somewhere.
So kind of like remembering back to the map, like there's multiple entry points from the colony as various uh you know pipes and tubing and everything like that lead to here, but those are like the only places like in and out. There's no like extra like exhaust or waste port or anything like that, because kind of like goes in here is processed and is like water gets recycled and everything like that and sent back out.
Okay. Well, Anderton, Sharp, any ideas?
Is there anywhere that all these tunnels would lead out to? And
Not
a
one.
central point?
There's not like a central There's not like a central exit or anything like that. No.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like I said, like all the places in the colony like lead into here, and then there's a bunch of, like I said, big maze of like pipes and tubes and everything like that that go through the whole processing stuff of all of these vats and everything like that, as like water and waste get processed and recycled and everything like that.
Well, it's clearly a death trap, but if this is where it's been, we kind of have to go after it one way or another.
Yeah, I trust the motion tracker's second best thing to actually getting eyes on it. So if they say it's here, it's got to be here. All right. It is a death trap, but it's either that or let it slowly bleed us at 1,000 cuts.
We could try to set some, instead of going in blind, we could try to set some kind of trap.
Go
I'm
on.
not sure what, but it's repeatedly coming out and killing people and then going back to wherever the hell it's hiding in.
I mean, do we know of any basically, is there any way to is there any sort of cleaning or like maintenance? Is there like a way to
Scare it out?
Yeah, or just force it out somehow without actually going into the pipes ourselves?
Maybe. Not that I, as the GM, could think of at the top of my head.
Sure.
Assuming that there is.
Yeah, there probably, at least there are, there's got to be like things we can turn on, or at least, I don't really know how waste processing works in the real world, so I'm not entirely sure, but I imagine.
I'm sure your character doesn't either.
Yeah. I'm imagining something like the trash pit in Star Wars. Maybe we can crush them.
I was gonna say, it's like, this counts as heavy machinery, right?
Yeah.
It's like, if I slap down a couple of spicy heavy machinery rolls, maybe I can figure out what's been used, what might be broken, because if it's disabling telecommunications, then it's deliberately targeting electronics for some reason.
So you want to see if there's anything broken in it?
I want to see if there's anything broken that it could be using as a space to hide in like a specific place.
Okay.
And if there's anything that's working and detects like some type of cloggage or some bullshit, that we could probably run through some disposal bits and see if we can unjar it.
Okay. Don't need you to make a roll on this. Unless you're trying to do it like extremely like haphazard and quickly, you don't need to make a roll on it. But
Okay.
if you're like just kind of going through like the motions, taking your time and everything like that, um, then you don't need to make a roll. But
No, yeah. I don't think he's going to be rushing because we already know it's gone.
yeah. But yeah, you go through all the stuff. You're looking through all the various like points and everything like that. You're looking for like pressure blockages or anything like that, but you don't happen to see any right on the readouts.
Okay. Well, nothing's broken.
Yeah, or at least
Strangely
like you
enough.
don't see anything that's like going over the red line.
Hmm. Is there any abnormal numbers just in general? Like nothing broken, but it's like something that might be.
I mean, there's
kinda
like
getting up there, but not
there's
really.
like
Just kind of the average.
one there's like one that's like slightly higher than the others, but it's not by much.
Hmm.
So I mean, if you're looking for like anything, that could maybe be something, but it's like
It's not like really worth a coin toss to figure it out.
yeah, it everything still looks within like nominal readings.
Okay. Hmm.
It
There's
could
nothing out of the
very much
ordinary.
be that's it's just processing through stuff in that specific area right now.
Right. Let's see here. Is there anything that needs to be immediately kind of like dumped or any kind of like things that need to be cleaned out, kind of a thing? See if we can't
No,
reset it.
everything is pretty much automated.
Okay. Well, shit.
Yeah, because it like the way that it's set up, it's done so that it doesn't like get it so it doesn't get clogged.
Is there any type of system for this thing in order to like have a rapid cooling system or a rapid heating? I don't know how that would necessarily work for a disposal system, but considering that,
I mean,
I don't know,
the
things get
machinery or
fried
whatever like has water run through it and everything like that. Like it uses some of the
Hmm.
recycled water to run through it to cool it off.
Okay. I don't think I'm gonna be able to use anything here then. Oh shit. You guys got any ideas?
Yeah. I mean, we could always do it the old-fashioned way,
Uh-oh.
but we need the motion. Ideally, we have a motion tracker making sure that it doesn't, or at least to let us know if it leaves this area.
The Marines are already here in this room, right?
Yeah, they're with you.
Okay. Assuming there's maybe 15 or 10. I don't know.
No, there's
Well,
only three. There's only 3 Marines total.
Ah, okay.
So we want to just, I mean, I'll ask them if they want to join me in going door to door, so to speak.
Well, do the Marines have I'm assuming that they do have some sort of tracker implanting thing in case we do catch this thing.
I mean, if we
And
catch this thing, I'm assuming it's either going to kill us or we're going to kill it.
yeah, but granted the person that may or may not have tracked it, gets killed, at least we would have the tracker still inside the damn thing unless it also claws that out. I'm just trying to think of a way that we can figure out where this thing is going to.
It's a fair point. I mean, if we can get like a paint gun or something, but no, I'm not. I'm not sure if it bolts, then we'll just have to. I mean, It's a good question. It's a good point, but we have to. We have to just hope we can kill it the first time we find it.
Yeah. Hmm. Do we want to try to grab some more people and try to flush this place down, or what? Or flush it out? Or are we just gonna jump in with 6 people?
Well, I mean, 6 of us, and it's probably as good as we're gonna get. I mean, these are the best fighters we got on the in the base. More than that, we end up being a liability to each other, I imagine.
Mm.
All right. And on that note, we'll go ahead and end the session there, and then we'll pick up with you guys potentially going into a death trap.
Fun times.
Who fucking boy?
All right. There's a lot of stuff done, but I'm not sure if there's a lot of stuff that got you guys XP. Let's go over the list, shall we? Where is the most recent list on here? Now, obviously, everybody's going to get one for going into playing the session. Oh, there we go. All right, participation in the session, 1 XP. Risk or sacrifice something to further your personal agenda. I don't think anybody particularly hit that. Yeah, y'all are still working on your agenda. Nobody really risked their life for anything during this session. Challenge or stand up to a rival PC.
I wouldn't say improvised bolt gun would be a challenge. I don't know. I don't know if that makes for anything.
Ransom, I'm going to give you that point since you had that confrontation, that little confrontation with Anderton there, since he is labeled as your rival.
Cool.
Huh? What?
Sean has his rival as Nelson, which is a little strange. I mean, I guess y'all had that one encounter of doing stuff, but
I haven't updated it since then. It's probably Ransom by now.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So I would have figured you would have updated for this by this one. So I'll go ahead and give you both that point. Ransom and Nelson, I think you both made panic rolls this game, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
I don't think I did.
He gained distress from seeing the monster, but yeah.
That was Anderton, yeah.
That was Anderton.
Oh,
yeah. So Ransom was the only one who made a stress roll this round. Okay. Overcome a dangerous event using violent or non-violent means. Nobody had that. There was opportunity to, but nobody really came into one. Significant discovery or revelation. I'll give that to you guys because you think you found where this thing has made its home.
Yeah. We also found the where it had been. We at least learned that this thing knows to take out comms.
Is that a revelation?
I mean, we know it's not an animal necessarily.
Or at least a mindless animal.
Yeah.
All right.
It seems to have some sort of sentience, problem-solving skills.
Yeah.
Next, it'll be able to open doors.
Oh no.
Extraordinary actions, nope. And earning money, nope. All right, so I think everybody gained about 2 XP, and I think,
I gained about 4.
yeah, and I think
Yeah.
everybody got at least 2.
Yeah.
Then Sean and Ransom got the stand up to your rival and buddy, and then Ransom, you got a point for making a panic.
Yeah. And he's going to spend 5 of experience to bump his medical aid up to 2, just in case, for no reason. Probably won't come in handy soon.
Mm-hmm.
Bumping up my ranged combat.
Was it at 0?
It was at 0.
You need to actually successfully use the skill before you can increase it.
Ah.
How's your close combat?
Close combat. It is at 2.
You
I
could.
think Sean will increase his observation.
Oh wait, does this because it's not medium now, it's at short range. Does that count for close combat or?
No, close combat means I am using my fists or a handheld weapon.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Well, with that, I believe that'll be the end of the session.
Okay.
Good deal. All right. Next time, I'm going to figure this out.
Mildly upset I couldn't throw a big switch or anything like that, but
Right.
I'm sure you'll be able to soon. You'll be able to throw all the switches you want.
all the switches, all the red buttons.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if no comments or questions, I will see y'all next time.
All right. See y'all then.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Later.
Have a good night.
Yeet.